welcome to Time and Again. What is it about a leading man that makes him so, well, leading? Why is it that the careers of so many perfectly presentable, talented actors never really take off, while a very select few attain true stardom, the ability to fascinate audiences and sell tickets by the millions? You might get a hint of the answer in this episode of Time and Again. We'll visit 3 stars who have that indefinable something. They're among the biggest stars of this or any other time. Mel Gibson, born in the USA, raised in Australia. The man People magazine once called the dish from down under and the sexiest man alive. No pressure there. And Kevin...
I love your Australian accent, but you're really born in the United States.
That's right.
You're born in New York State, huh?
New York State, yeah.
And how old were you when your family went to Australia?
The ripe old age of 12.
You were 12 years old. There was 11 kids in your family. So what did your father do, charter an airplane?
No, he just put us on various seats scattered around the craft and took us all off.
So if somebody says to you now, are you American or Australian, what do you say?
I'm a hybrid.
But you're an American citizen.
That's right, yeah.
You live in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
You're the most famous movie actor in Australia. You were terrific in Gallipoli as well as The Year of Living Dangerously. You feel like a big international movie star now, Mel?
Well, I just feel nervous. I do.
The ill at ease Mel Gibson is one terrific actor.
27-year-old Mel Gibson with NBC's Gene Shalit in 1983. The year Gibson graduated from Mad Max to The Year of Living Dangerously, the movie that helped make him a star. Gibson would continue to do action movies, but now he had his pick of meatier roles as well, as NBC's Jim Brown tells us in 1985.
The growing international popularity of the American-born actor who calls Australia home continued with a new film version of the classic tale of Mutiny on the Bounty. In 1984, he made his American film debut in The River, opposite Sissy Spacek. And then, still shy of his 30th birthday, Gibson starred with Diane Keaton in Mrs. Soulful.
How do you deal with recognition? By that I mean, an actor sets out to be a success.
Sure.
The bigger success he is, the more he's recognized. The harder it is for him to
Be a success.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a vicious circle, isn't it? You got to be kind of shifty, like a, deal from the bottom of the deck. It's okay. I mean, if you're going to take the whole piece, really. You've got to just say, I'm going to enjoy it. And try as best you can to sort of keep calm. You have to take breaks, I think. Last year I worked a bit too hard. I think 4 in a row was too many.
When Gibson was starting out, he was happy for any job. This is actually his first screen appearance in 1976 in a small role as a beach bum in the Australian film Summer City.
Look, mate, I'm a bit tied up.
No, what you mean. Just ring you tomorrow, buddy. See you later. Bye.
And even after Mad Max and Tim, Gibson was still happy to get any acting role, as in this 1979 appearance in a television sitcom titled Tickled Pink.
You're going to like the bed in me and Eleonora's room.
There's the big regret.
But when you ask Gibson about regrets in his career, movies he should have never made, out comes the name of Attack Force Z.
I was lousy, the picture stank, and everything was rotten, so I got a tape of it to have a look at it, just to see what happened. And I invited an actor friend who was in it with me to come around, and we shoved it in the thing, and neither of us had seen it. And it was like 4 years later or something, and we made some popcorn. And we sat there, and we nearly gagged with laughter on the popcorn.
Why would they blow it up?
There's only one way to find out.
Words to live by. I asked Gibson if his children, who are under 5 years of age, have ever seen him on the screen.
I think they've sprung me a couple of times, maybe on a television or a cassette or something, but we never take them out to the cinema and show. They create too much of a havoc.
Do they understand what you're doing when they see you up there?
No.
When do you think you're going to have to explain that to them?
Well, I sort of started explaining to the oldest one. I told her that I goof around for a living, and she doesn't kind of get this. It's very hard for them to understand that kind of thing, that it's all pretend. I mean, I don't think children get into knowing, the difference between fantasy and real until like 7 or 8 years of age, the age of reason, whatever it is. But it'll be a couple of years yet before she figures it out.
In the meantime, if you are Mel Gibson, there's all sorts of pretending with which you can keep filling the movie screens of the world.
That was 1985. 2 years later, Mel Gibson was my guest during a Today Show visit to Gibson's adopted home of Australia. Are you a thoroughgoing Aussie now?
Well, I'm a half and half, It's there's a duality there. But it's good. I mean, nobody bothers me. I'm an adopted son, I suppose, but I understand America and Australia in ways that perhaps people that live in only those places wouldn't.
Well, you really are. You can still call yourself a mix because you choose to live here and raise your family here, and yet you haven't given up your American citizenship.
No, well, it hasn't been a great problem for me, and I don't know, I can't quite relinquish my origins. It's not that easy for me.
Your kids are Australian.
They are, yes. Yeah, I've raised a home. I'm thinking of registering as a tribe. But
how many? 4 of them?
Oh, yeah, so far.
You, when you're not making pictures, I asked you when you sat down, are you working? And you said you're always working, and I didn't mean pictures. I meant you have a ranch.
Yes, I chase cattle around. And,
you're a cattle baron?
Well, I'm more like a cattle, well, not quite a baron, but it's a nice place, and it keeps me occupied and busy, and I think if I didn't have something like that to do between what I normally do, I'd go around the twist.
It must be fairly isolated if it's a farm or a ranch, if you will.
Yeah, well, it's 20, 30 miles from the nearest big town. It's on the Victorian border there.
You don't need the company of lots of people?
No. I can have a wonderful conversation with a cow. But it doesn't bother me. The being isolated like that, I actually love that. Yeah. And as you can see, there's no corner barber shop or anything there.
Looks great. Looks great. Don't change a thing. Yeah. David Williamson, the playwright's going to be with us in a bit.
Oh,
I read where he said that Aussie actors tend to do more English roles because they don't do American accents all that well. Is that true?
Oh, I've heard some good ones, but there's always a telltale vowel or something in there to give away the fact that that's not an American.
You sound thoroughly Australian to me, but Australians think you sound a little American. What is it?
Well, again, it's the half and half. It's
half and half.
Yeah. Well, it's like. Well, my top half is Australian because this product was made in Australia.
Somebody asked which half.
And my bottom half, I think all these clothes came from the United States. So.
Well, the fact is, Mel Gibson, you were made in the USA.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Sprang from those loins.
But purely Australians, they say. It's my heavens, somebody's going to do a transcript of this interview.
Transcript.
Duality. Mel Gibson, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Come see us more.